You can never judge a book by its cover.
Welcome to the Service to Syndication podcast, where we interview the biggest and most successful real estate entrepreneurs, investors, capital raisers in the world who have worn the uniform of this great country, those who provide services to our men and women in uniform, and other service-oriented professionals to provide you with the tool sets, the mindsets, and the skill sets to help you conquer your dreams and goals in real estate and to use this wealth creation vehicle so you can live a more successful, happy, and fulfilled life of generosity and prosperity. If what you desire is time, lifestyle, and financial freedom, you've come to the right place. We will bring to you the best real estate entrepreneurs who will give you the insights, the knowledge, experience, skills, so you can go out and crush it in whatever real estate asset class you desire. So grab a pencil and paper, sit back, and enjoy the ride on the Service to Syndication podcast. Hello, my servicemen and women and other service providers. Welcome to another episode of the Service to Syndication Real Estate podcast. I am your host, Cedric Marlow. I am a U.S. Navy vet. Here on the Service to Syndication podcast, we interview the most successful real estate entrepreneurs, investors, and capital raisers in the world, where most have donned the uniforms of our great country. We aim to provide the tool sets, the mindsets, and skill sets for you to achieve your personal and business goals while using real estate as a wealth creation vehicle to help you live a more successful, happy, and fun-filled life. I am super excited today because I have with me Mr. Joe Seraphine, who is a top-notch real estate broker and realtor out of the Loudoun County, Virginia area. Before I properly introduce our exciting guest to you, please, I want to ask a favor of you. If you get some value out of this interview, if you get some insight, mindset shift, if you learn a new skill, new information, receive inspiration or motivation to go out and take some action to make some progress in your life, please share this episode with some of your friends. Send it to someone you know who might be or could be interested in real estate. Please share it on your stories, post it on your wall. Help us spread our message while you help others. And for all of you who share this episode, I want to say thank you. Again, everyone, I have with me Mr. Joe Seraphine, who is the founder, CEO, and principal broker of Seraphine Real Estate, the #1 selling commercial brokerage headquartered in Loudoun County, Virginia. Since launching the firm in 2019, Joe has led over $680 million in closed transactions through the company and has personally closed more than $1 billion in commercial deals since starting his real estate career in 2005. Seraphine Real Estate is known for its expertise in triple net investment sales, owner and user transactions, and unique property types like early education centers, industrial flex buildings, and religious facilities. The firm focuses on the Northern Virginia, especially Loudoun, Fairfax, and Prince William counties, leveraging deep local market knowledge to deliver sharp deal execution. Joe has been recognized as one of the top 10 real estate agents in Virginia and is a co-star Power Broker award winner. His firm is a 3-time Best of Loudoun winner for commercial real estate company. When he's not closing deals or speaking at industry events, Joe enjoys life in Loudoun County with his wife, Trista, and their 3 kids, Cameron, Bella, and Paxton. And you can often find him out on the golf course. All right, Joe, thank you and for being on the podcast. First and foremost, the first thing I like to do with my guests is kind of have them walk us through their real estate journey in 75 seconds or less. And at some point, we'll start to unravel all of that.
Great. Well, first, thank you very much, Cedric, for having me on. I'm honored to be on your show. I have watched your show, and thank you very much. So 75 seconds or less. Well, I'll give that a try. All right. So I was originally licensed back in 2005, and really that was to help my dad. I'm born and raised in the Northern Virginia area, and he was a small-time builder looking for lots. And so that was really why I had gotten licensed. For a couple of years, the market was good, and then all of a sudden we started to see the downturn. So he was on his way to retirement. I was approached by a multifamily firm around the DC area to help them. That was many years. I was representing the Carlyle Group, JBG, different private equity companies where I was at one point licensed Virginia, Maryland, DC, Connecticut, Florida, New Jersey, and traveling back and forth. As the family grew, my family grew, I wanted to be a little bit more centralized around for them. So I started my own firm in 2019. And the whole idea was more of a geographic specialization and also a product specialization, because focusing on those two areas, really, I could become an expert with the brokers around me to dive deep into our local area and limit the travel as much.
Okay. So was that the gap that you were trying to fill in your market? Did you see that there was a gap there in your market for you to take advantage of and to, just help out that area?
Absolutely. That kind of came with the product specialization. So it's kind of what I fell back into. As you mentioned in the bio, we do a lot with the early education centers. That's a very popular industry around Northern Virginia. Both of the parents typically work. So you have maybe a lawyer and a doctor, and those are careers that they've given their life to, really, but they want to have children, so that they want to put their kids in a good facility. So there's early education around here. And those, in terms of an investment vehicle, investors love them because they're typically 15, 20-year leases, single tenant net lease. And I don't know how familiar your audience is with the triple net lease, but it's hands off. It's mailbox money that comes in. And those rents escalate on an average of 3% per year. And there's no landlord responsibility. Sometimes even the roof and structure are on the tenant. So the tenant's reimbursing for taxes, they're reimbursing for the property insurance, they're covering all utilities, they're covering repairs and maintenance. So I saw an opportunity there because it was a very popular industry here. Between those three counties that you mentioned, there's 999 early education centers, and it's growing. And there was not any one concentrating specifically in that. Now, again, I fell back into it. A family friend was a developer of these. And so I just kind of took kind of a one-off deal that we had and I ran with it. And now we do the majority of those, about 85% of those transactions for early education around here. And that actually places top in Virginia, even over the big firms, for early education sales. So I saw an opportunity there. I saw an opportunity on how commercial properties were being marketed. You could look at the residential world and you have a $500,000 house, and it is a beautiful marketing brochure. There's high visuals, drone photography, virtual tours. And then you look at the $5 million commercial building, and it is something that is subpar a lot to what they're marketing. I saw an opportunity there as well to create really nice marketing for our clients, which are typically commercial investors that have portfolios. This is what they do. They're not institutional, like the Carlyle Group was more institutional all over. Mine are usually high net worth individuals that have a commercial portfolio, usually close to home here, and they've built it over time.
Okay. So let's go back a little bit to when you were able to work with, say, like the Carlyle Group and the other groups that you named, the private equity firms. Why do you think that they sought you out at that time?
Well, it was the relationship, and it's always going to go back to a relationship-driven kind of industry. Now, give you the first project that I had with the Carlyle Group, I guess that was around 2007 or 8. They were the majority equity partner in a multifamily building. And again, the market was starting to take a downturn. So it was putting in the hard work. And, I know before this, we mentioned in these calls at 11 o'clock at night, that is actually who, with some of those Carlyle guys, who it was, because those guys are workhorses. So it was being available for them. And then it was results driven because of that hard work put in. We had some success, even in a down market. And then outside of the meetings in the conference room, we would go maybe grab a drink together, out in DC. And so that relationship and that trust just kind of manifested where now they said, oh, well, hey, we have a project down in West Palm Beach, Florida. Can you go down there? After some convincing and negotiating, yes. And I would give them some time and got licensed down in West Palm. That was supposed to be a 3-month gig, ended up being 2 years. It's actually where I met my wife, so I can't say too much. And then after that, it was just, these guys, even though I don't represent them now, I still am friendly with them. And we may pick up the call every once in a while just to say hi, or, hey, good job, I saw you on this, or, hey, what are you guys up to these days? But again, this whole business is a relationship business, and it can't be fake. It's got to be real. And these are people that I like, get along with, and vice versa. And that's even to this day. The clients that I deal with now are more than just clients. I mean, they're friends.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on that. This is a relationship business. And the longer that you're in it, you realize that people know people. You may do this deal with someone you've never known before that just walked in off the street to your firm to do a deal. And then they'll eventually say, oh, well, you remember Sam X? Yeah, I know him. Yeah, he told me about you.
Yep.
So yeah, it's definitely a relationship business. So
it's unbelievable. Just to go more on your point there. I mean, you never know who these people know. I mean, some of the relationships or some of the large deals that I've done. I mean, we just closed on a $17 million deal, and that was a relationship driven one that was from another relationship that I had. And so, they just formulate, and especially when you're localized on your concentration, those groups tend to know some other groups that are in the same industry, same level of investment. And once you're in and you can be trusted and you've earned that trust, that goes a long way when that, let's say, $50 million property portfolio owner trusts you and says that to his other friend who owns $100 million portfolio. That carries a lot of weight than just me picking up the phone and saying, oh, hi, I'm Joe Seraphine. They're not going to even answer my call. But if it's coming from their friend, they're going to take that with some weight.
Absolutely. So, Joe, you've been in commercial real estate since 2005. What were some early lessons that helped shape the way you do business today?
So again, I think it's being responsive to the people that you're working with. It's showing respect. One of the things that I learned is you can never judge a book by its cover, right? So you don't know what's going on behind the scenes. You don't know really much. It's learning. It's learning as much as you can really about that person by asking questions, really uncovering what their need is. And once you can uncover what that need is, it just allows you to provide better service to them, to direct things. So, some of the challenges and things like that, especially early on, I'm a young kid. How much respect am I really going to get, from some of these people? But again, I think if you put in the work, you're transparent. Look, I'm an open book when it comes to things. In these speaking engagements that I go to, I will disclose some of our proprietary secrets just because I'm on the mindset of abundance. There's enough to go around. And yes, I have competitors, but I'm actually very close friends with a lot of my competitors. And we trade secrets, and I learn from them, and they, learn from me.
Yeah, that's great. So, of course, as we both know, starting a brokerage is no small feat. So what were some of the biggest challenges you faced in those early days, and how did you overcome those?
So when I first started out with SRE, you're everything. Now, there's 5 basically facets of a business. There's the sales part, which drives revenue and pretty much everything. There's the marketing component. There's the operations component. There's the human resources component. And then there's the finance component. And in the beginning, you're everything. You're running and have to organize everything, and it's all on you. So that's challenging in itself, is setting up the systems. One of the first things that I did, and even prior to launching it, is I knew I was going to have to bring on people. However, my goal has never been to have a company where I'm managing a lot of brokers. I like being in the deals. I like servicing my own clients. However, you got to have people, not just any people, people that you can trust. So the very first person that joined me, from the very beginning, was one of my closest friends. We knew each other from 15 years, or since we were 15 years old. We went to the same high school, Paul VI High School out here in Fairfax. He went on to the Merchant Marine Academy. And at that time, he was doing a lot of real estate investing himself locally. Not much brokerage experience, but actually that could have its own benefit. I knew I could trust him. He had success on the investment world. That's really what we do, is we service investors. And so he joined me right from the get-go. And we kind of helped develop some of these processes together. They have fine-tuned all the time. They're still fine-tuning. But that was a big challenge, was how do we get this thing going so we can step away and take a vacation here and there. So my thing was very strategic on who I was going to be bringing on. I did make some mistakes in the beginning, and whether it was a system related or whatever we were working with, but again, you live and learn, and you learn from those.
Absolutely. So you spoke earlier about the education centers and how you were able to identify that niche. Now, in terms of the religious facilities, how were you able to identify that niche as well?
So the zoning usually works very similar between a early education childcare center and a religious facility, meaning that if a childcare center is sitting on a piece of land and it's zoned, let's say around here, the zoning code is PDH, where they typically lie on, that same zoning actually allows for religious facilities by right. So if we're selling a early education center, that's not an investment, it's just a building, maybe the lease expired or something, we would get interest from religious facilities as well, maybe moving a community. Now, if the center was big enough, 20,000 square feet, 30,000 square feet or so, that's prime for religious facilities. So we've helped some of the largest around here, McLean Bible Church, which is very big, actually helped or released one of our centers about a year ago. So it just kind of scaled in a similar fashion like the early education. I'll give you one of the really good feel-good stories with the religious facilities, because this was a transaction from last year. We were approached by the Lord of Life Lutheran Church, who had two large churches out in Fairfax County. One in Fairfax, actually, and then one in Clifton. And they were under some serious stress from the bank debt, where they had the potential to lose both churches because of the note being pulled in. Now, this was a congregation over 300. They interviewed several brokers, and we were one of them. We won the assignment. And at first, I was a little hesitant to take it because I know the way religious groups work. You have, there's one decision maker, sometimes there's 300. In this case, there was 300. So we were tasked to sell one of their churches, and it was done with a vote with the congregation to do so. So we sourced offers on both of them. And in the Fairfax location, which was the original one, had received a lot more early attention. We were priced at $5,650,000. We did accept an offer at $6.1 million. All the offers were over asking price, not typical for commercial, but these were unique. So their debt was about $4 million. Well, okay, great. We're over asking price, but it still had to go to a congregational vote. It was voted 73% not to sell. So now we're back to square one. The bank is looming. They are literally about to lose both locations, but there were a lot of ties to the Fairfax. So now we shifted our attention to the Clifton location, which was somewhat newer, and we did source. That one was priced. It was larger, $7,650,000. After some negotiating, we actually landed a deal at $8,050,000. Again, had to go to the congregational vote. They did vote to sell that one. By selling that to it was an Ethiopian Orthodox Church was the buyer. They had a very large congregation. The Lord of Life Lutheran Church was now able to keep their Fairfax. They paid off all their debt, $4 million. They also put the remainder in back into the community. So after fees and all, $3.5 million went back into the communities, continuing to go back. They could do good. They could carry out their mission. That is where the majority of the congregation actually goes. They made systems for the ones in Clifton to pick them up, bring them over. The other feel-good part of that is the Ethiopian Orthodox Church. I actually watched their opening service, and they maybe 300, 400, 500, something like that, where they did start. And it was just the most joyous celebration because they had a home. They've been looking for years. And these religious groups, sometimes to build up from ground up can take 20 years. No kidding. So for them to actually have this new home was also the feel good. Yeah. So, and then things just spiral from that. Word gets out. Press picks up on things like that. So it's just something that we've also continued to focus in on with the specialization.
Right. Yeah, man, that is definitely a feel-good story there, where both congregations won. It was a winning transaction for all involved. Yeah. So you've kept your geographic focus tight on Loudoun, Fairfax, and Prince William counties. Now, how does that hyper-local approach give your clients an edge?
We have our ear to the ground constantly. Most of us are born and raised here. And so even diving deeper into the product specialization. So we're a boutique firm. There's 5 of us. So they have been strategically brought on in a way where, for example, one of the guys, he was a commercial lender in Western Loudoun, like points west in Prince William County and things like that. So he had a specialization because he knew a lot of the business owners and investors already in those areas. He's also born and raised out in Western Loudoun. So it has a very deep network. So it gives him the insight that may not be public knowledge on what's happening. He's part of the economic development in certain areas out there as well. So that helps give us as a company the edge out there by having him focused there. One of the more recent guys that we brought on is a commercial real estate attorney out of Alexandria, which is closer into still Northern Virginia. Now, he was brought on. That was an area that I really wasn't covering. I've gotten lazy in my older days where I don't like to travel a lot. So I keep it very, very tight knit. Right. And so, but he lives and breathes commercial real estate in Alexandria. Now we have the opportunity for an expert there. The guy that I was telling you with the Merchant Marine Academy, my very deep roots in Fairfax and Western Fairfax area. So it has a very heavy concentration in that area. And then I'll oversee everything. And allows us to really dive deep on the local market. And then in addition to that, when you add the layer of product specialization on top of that, we have proprietary market knowledge in our database just from deals that we've done that is not public knowledge. So appraisers or those looking for, let's go back to early education, stats on early education. Now, a lot of those deals are confidential. They don't hit the open market. You don't see those on MLS. You don't see those on Loudoun or anything like that because of the sensitivity of the business itself. Well, we do have that information because, again, we're handling the majority of those transactions. So when somebody says, oh, well, the market rate, they're coming from out of state is $25 a square foot to lease. Well, actually, no. Within an 8-mile radius of Dulles Airport, it's actually $41.89 a square foot. And here are the stats that prove it. So it gives us numbers, guys, like, understanding those numbers gives us an edge too.
Yeah, definitely. Now, what trends are you currently seeing in the Northern Virginia commercial market? And are there any surprises or shifts post-pandemic?
Well, so March 12th, that's when the state of emergency happened in 2020 in Virginia. All the investment capital froze. It was there, but over that weekend, we lost close to $8 million of deals that were triple net investment deals because people didn't know what to do, what was going on. Yeah. Fast forward 6 months later, it started flooding back in. 2021 really was actually a great year in the investment market. Rates were very low. So if you figure that, I know people that were investors that had good relationships with banks that were refinancing at 2.75% on a commercial loan. That's crazy. These investment properties, so triple nets typically, let's say, sell on average at around 6%, 6.5%. There's a lot of fluctuation there, but and they're financing at 3%. There's a nice margin in there for the profit to be made. The shift recently with the raise of the interest rates, the last year and a half, 2 years, has affected that market. We've seen cap rates go up. So what was trading, let's say at 6%, is now closer to 6.5% because of the interest rate market. That shift now, what I'm seeing is investors are looking more for value add. Say office has been hit. That's a national known topic. That's same with us around here. There's vacancies. It's harder to lease up office space. So if an investor, a savvy investor, can understand the zoning, that maybe an office building doesn't necessarily need to be an office building. Maybe it can be a retail or a special purpose where it can get converted over. The office has taken a hit where you can get a good deal if you buy an office building right now. You put a little bit of money into it and convert it, let's say, to a retail or maybe medical or something, and get that leased up. Well, now that building, let's say you purchase it at $150, $200 a square foot and you have it leased up now. Well, that may be worth $500, $600 a square foot once it's leased up. And then you could cash out, either sell it or, refinance and take some of your money out. So we've been seeing some of that. Industrial has been on a nice trend right now. And that's because of the warehouse type space. It was really, really hot. The leasing has slowed down a little bit on it, but Loudoun County specifically, flex space, industrial flex, it's at a 1.6% vacancy. That's extremely low. And that's because of our data centers. The data centers out here, now just recently, 2 weeks ago, they took away the by right zoning for data centers, meaning you can't just go do it in industrial zoned area. It has to be approved by the county now. But there's, I think, 36 slated or whatever still to be developed. There's 55 million square feet of data centers with another 20 million square feet that definitely can be used, but you're running out of space. But what that's done for the other user is that maybe has an industrial flex building that's not a data center, it's popped up that price. I mean, average is over $350 a square foot for industrial flex right now. I mean, go pre-pandemic, you were maybe around $220 a square foot. So that has been a very high market, and that's just a lot of luck. I mean, the data centers buy land at $4 to $5 million an acre right now.
Yeah.
You're sitting on that type of land, you've done well. Now Prince William County has seen a little bit of that shift down there.
Okay. So in that area, the data centers are, well, you did say that they had a lot of them already slated to be built and already zoned and everything. So now with the change in the laws, it's going to be a little bit harder for someone who's now just trying to come into that market to build their data center.
That's right. That is going to be very challenging. I mean, there was a very big rush when the news was going to be that the county was likely going to take away the by right zoning for all the applications to get in and be approved or grandfathered in, I should say. So I think there was something along the lines of 38 or 39 applications that were in, and 36 of them were got it in, and 36 were grandfathered in. So it would be very tough now for an investor to come in and try to look at data centers because getting that by right zoning, one, I don't know where you're going to find the land here right now. Prince William County, and for your audience out there that maybe have any interest in investing in the Northern Virginia area, look into Prince William County, namely Manassas.
We know you're going to like this episode, so please like, comment, and subscribe to this channel so you can be notified when the next episode drops.
Haymarket, Gainesville, that's what we refer to as North Prince William County, because data centers are making the shift out that way. There's still land. Land is now, for an acre for data center land, about $1.5 million to $2 million. It's not where Loudoun County is, but not necessarily the data center land itself. Look at the auxiliary businesses that support the data centers. Data centers aren't manned by a lot of people. They're massive structures. There's not a lot of people that work there. But what a lot of people don't realize is there's a lot of businesses that help support the data centers, from the drilling to the heavy industrial, to the light industrial, to the distribution, to the storage, and all of those. So I personally, I invest. I actually invest up in your area in Pennsylvania. So, but around here, Prince William County is one of my next investment targets, or is my next, because of just that reason. You could still find things at a less expensive rate than you can in Fairfax and Loudoun. But if your whole plan to hold for 10 years, maybe more, Prince William County will become what Loudoun, I believe, Fairfax are in 10 years or more, because of just the movement that we're seeing out there and the development opportunities.
Okay. So as a founder and principal broker, how do you balance leadership, client service, and deal making?
That is very tough in a way, but I'm very structured, very disciplined on what I do every day, what my role is. And again, I've got a great support system. As I told you, there's 5 of us. Well, 4 of us are brokers working the deals and all of that. I am overseeing all of it, helping and stepping in where needed. However, the brokers are maybe taking leads on different projects where they're a good fit, maybe geographically or in product specialization. Our office manager, her name's Jennifer, happens to be my younger sister. Keep it in the house, okay? So I brought her on because I knew her, obviously. She's 10 years older than I, but is very well organized herself. Very good. We call her the ringmaster, just because she's able to kind of keep us all together. She does the client reporting. She's following up. She's copying on a lot of things that I'm dealing with. So will remind me, hey, did you reach out to oh, thank you. I need to get on that. So it's the support system that helps keep everything balanced and running. My role with the company really is the business development, the relationships with the clients themselves, stepping in when a deal negotiation or whatever needs to be serviced, handling marketing activities, outreach, company sponsorships on different events, things like that. So, but I have no problem stepping in and changing a light bulb or putting, paper in the copy machine or printing out offering memorandum, whatever it needs to be. So again, it's still that role, but again, I'm disciplined on trying to keep the balance as well.
Yeah. So you were just mentioning your team. So what qualities do you look for bringing new agents or team members into Seraphine Real Estate?
So I don't recruit, don't actively recruit. It's usually very organic on how it comes about. Everybody who's with me or has ever been, I've known them before. So I've already, they may be friends. It could be friends from, just prior business relationship or whatever. And they may approach me on, hey, looking for this. And then if it's a good fit, in other words, can you go out and have a beer with this person or have a drink with this person outside of work? That's where it starts. And then it's easy because, you're around these people. You want to be able to speak to them and have a friendly relationship. So that's what I look for when somebody's trying to come on. Now, with that said, I mean, sometimes we are approached by people who, hey, can we join? But they're just getting started and don't really have any background in any sort of real estate related thing. I'm very honest with them. I don't have a training protocol that I'm going to not set them up in the best way.
Okay.
I've done this a few times. I will actually refer them to another brokerage that I know has a phenomenal training program. And I tell them to go there. And I'll even call and make the introduction to them. And this has happened a couple of times recently because I know I'm not going to be able to lead them to success right away. But these other companies can give them the backbone they need. Now, once they have that backbone, if they, still want to come and talk, hey, absolutely. More than open to that. I'm not going to go recruit and try to steal them or anything. But my door's always open with that type of thing. But I don't want to lead anybody to a path of non-success. Do what's right with people, and that you'll go much further, I believe.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Do right by people. And I mean, you're not going to find many people that would do that, where you're going to, okay, yeah, you maybe can't bring this person into the fold, but you're going to make an introduction to somewhere for this person to go and grow. Not
Yeah.
many people are going to do that, but that comes back around to you. And I'm one of those people who wholeheartedly believe in that. And, so yeah.
I agree. I mean, just an example, there was somebody, great guy. He approached me. He was coming down. He was in the food business, didn't know real estate experience on a joint. We had coffee. He's got along great, but I told him exactly what we said, introduced him to a firm that I know. And I see him and now he's joined the meetings and he's doing great with the company that did the training for him and everything. And we may be getting into a deal together because I have a property that his client may be interested in. And we're talking and it's great. So, and we're very friendly. There was never any hard feelings or anything. And there never needs to be because it's still a small world out there. And like you said, that people know people. Well, if you treat everybody with respect and do them right or whatever, then it's only going to lead to good things. I do believe in karma. So,
yeah. Well, one question I wanted to get back to, since we're now kind of focusing on the team. Earlier, you mentioned that you brought on the gentleman that was a real estate, an attorney, right? And then you brought on the loan officer,
Yep.
the loan broker. Was that strategic and why?
No, I didn't approach them. They actually approached me. So the commercial lender, I knew him because of some commercial investments that I have personally. He was my lender. So he did the loans on those properties. I still own them today, still with the same bank. He had been doing it for over 12 years and wanted to still be in commercial real estate, but just a different aspect of it, different part of the real estate investment world, not the lending side, but more the brokerage side. So he approached me because we knew each other. And again, friends already. And I said, well, this is going to be a great fit because he's covering Western Loudoun. He has deep roots there. He knows half of the business owners because he did their loans for him. He knows the investors out there. And it's an area I don't really know as much. It's Western Loudoun. I'm Loudoun, and I live in Loudoun now, but I was born and raised in Fairfax. He's Western Loudoun, knows it. I'm like, this is the perfect match. And he is killing it. He's doing phenomenal because of that geographic specialization and the product specialization. He's about to close on an $8.5 million deal or whatever in the next month or two. Hopefully the contract comes back today. The commercial attorney, he approached me. Firm that he was with was actually shutting down their commercial division. I had known him for years just from a group that we're both a member of. He's now the president of. And so he approached me. And again, that was a good fit because I was also an area that I wasn't highly concentrating on, but I knew he is and he knows it already. So it was strategic in that fact, but not strategically recruited.
Okay. Yeah, that's awesome.
And then the first one, like I said, that was mainly just trust. I didn't really know what I was doing, but I knew I could trust him. And the office manager, my younger sister.
Right.
I knew her. I know her very well. So, yeah.
Yeah. So you mentioned the deal, the church, the religious deal with the Ethiopian church and the Lutheran church. Can you share another memorable deal which exemplifies what Seraphine Real Estate stands for?
Sure. Let's talk about let's twofold this if we can. And this kind of goes with knowing the market. Okay. So as I kind of mentioned 3 years ago, the triple net investment market was extremely hot because of the interest rates. So at the time, it was an early education facility and it was a business and the real estate for sale. The owner owned both of them, but he was interested in selling both of them. But because we knew how the triple net market was doing at that time and doing really well, we knew we could maximize his value by selling them separately. And really what was most important was getting a good lease in place so we could sell the real estate effectively. So the first part of the phase was, okay, look, sell your business, sell it for under what you expect from it, but maximize the lease value. So that was step one that we completed. So he sold the business. We worked out a lease, which was, I believe, a 10-year triple net lease at a good lease rate. We had that because we had that lease in place now and what the cap rates were trading at that time. The long story short of it is we netted him about $400,000 more. So the final deal was like 3.2 million or something like that. $400,000 more because of the way we structured that for him. And that was a couple of years ago, so that's closed. Fast forward to today, we don't use that same strategy, maybe collectively now together. But but here's one that also exemplified, and this is kind of patience. This is something that I'm learning. So there was another school building. It was owned by the county as a public school. They sold it because of new development, a new elementary school was being built. My client bought it in 2008 for $8 million. We had leased it to Montessori school for years, but the lease was undervalued. And so at that time, the building was worth about $12 just until recently. Well, that building was worth more vacant, a lot more. So it was, and this is again, knowing your market. So the tenant vacated and we just closed because we did not sell at the 12.5. We didn't want to because it was more valuable vacant. And the net lease market is in a different thing where it is today for $17 million. So we essentially netted him $4.5 million more. And he is a very seasoned, I learned from him. So, he had to encourage me to have the patience with it. $4.5 million more from the patience and just knowing the value of the asset and where the market is at.
Wow.
So that's what we're about, is we want to do what's best for our client, not with us. If it is, I just told a potential seller client this the other day. If we don't believe it is a right time to do something based upon that client's need, going back to the beginning, we will be very honest and transparent with them to tell them what the right thing to do. I just told somebody it's not the right time to sell. You should right now focus on maximizing the value of the leases in the building because you can. And if you don't need to sell, don't sell right now. Now, that takes money out of my pocket right now. But you know what? That person, there's a trust that's obviously gained from that. Because that is what the right thing to do right now is for their particular situation.
So what do you do in that situation when I'm just dead set on selling? I understand what you told me, but I'm just getting rid of it. I need to get rid of it.
So we try to figure out the best creative way to do that to maximize their value. So that could be a restructuring of something. But let's say they don't want to do anything, they're older and it's just kind of like time to liquidate and they just want to get done. Like you said, get rid of this thing. Well, now how can we paint that picture, that story of that property, create the value that maybe it's not tangible today, but create the value in our discussions with potential buyers and our marketing materials on what this could be so that buyer can see it now and visualize it. It's not done today, but this is what it could be tomorrow. And now that helps the value for our client who's selling their property. So, and everyone is different. Every property is different. Everybody's situation is different. So we obviously, again, this goes back to the relationship, knowing them, what's going to work best. So
yeah,
I know some clients that I could kind of push a little bit, and I know ones that, nope, whatever they say, I got it. Nope, good to go.
Yeah. So with over 1 billion in personal transactions, how do you keep the quality of your service high and consistent across every deal?
So again, we're specialized in products, and geographic. So I am not looking for that major expansion into other states. I'm not looking to bring on, other brokers by recruiting, which allows me to keep what we do and, the properties and clients that we are working with very focused and top of mind. It's, I think, not yet growing, but not growing too fast. Still making sure that we can handle our workload, relying on the people that work together with me, bringing on strategic partners. For example, we do have a strategic partner that handles business sales now. We have a strategic partner that sources financing. Really, he could do it all over the country, but he can source private capital, bank capital. He just got a rate for another deal we just closed. I was shocked at the rate. I don't even know where he got it from, but he, helped out that buyer client. Even like this, Cedric. I mean, I don't really have any, connections for multifamily or syndication deals, investment deals in Philadelphia. You're my guy. I get somebody or whatever that wants to diversify. Well, I'm not going to try to learn the market.
Right.
I mean, that would be too much on me when I'm concentrating on this market. Well, you know it. Yeah. So I would be like, hey, let me introduce you. Cedric Marlow up here. Yes, he knows this, and that's it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And that's what this business is about. Remember, as you said earlier, it's relationships. And some of those relationships will be your strategic partners to bring on to help out in whatever facet of the business that you may need at that time. So yeah, that's great.
Yep. I wish I could find somebody in every state, everything. I mean, somebody just asked me about something in Iowa. Referral. I don't even know if I've ever been to Iowa. I've been to like, but there was somebody I had to find that I was actually able to help them, and they had the conversation, and hopefully I think they're going to be able to help with, urgent care facility up there.
Right. Yeah. So you've been recognized as one of the top 10 real estate agents in Virginia and received the CoStar Power Broker Award. How do accolades like these impact your business, if at all?
Well, look, they definitely help. I mean, I think it's credibility. The more that you're out there, the more that you're recognized for certain things. It just adds that layer of credibility. That goes too with the press. I mean, it's, you don't want to be boastful in the sense, but like, the success stories, I believe they should be announced. I mean, that is how you gain some credibility from somebody not knowing who the heck you are to, okay, well, yeah, I've been seeing this Seraphine Real Estate pop up. The biggest compliment, honestly, that I could get, and I love hearing this when somebody is, oh, Seraphine Real Estate, you guys are everywhere. Perfect. Job done. Like omnipresence. And there's so many different tools and things like that that can be utilized. I've got a great SEO guy that helps us get the name out there. The press, whenever we could have a story in the press or speaking engagements or the awards or anything like that, we go for it just because that all is about helping the company and helping that omnipresence to be everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. As you were just speaking about speaking engagement, you're frequently invited to speak at panels and forums. What topics are you most passionate about sharing with others?
So obviously a lot of it has to involve around commercial real estate and local commercial real estate. BizNow just actually invited me to do a Loudoun County Commercial Real Estate Summit. That will be in August. So panels like that. But I'll tell you, one of the things I love talking about, and I've done it now, I think 4 years in a row, is an annual commercial real estate conference, but it's been on the technology front of things and AI. And I will say we have a pretty good tech stack that's helped a lot with the processes. I've dove big in, and I don't have a background in it, I just have an interest into AI and all of that. It helps us with data analytics, which then in turn helps us for our clients. One of the things we did is going back early education, the 999. Now that number is just not pulled out of anywhere. Every licensed childcare center is regulated by now the Department of Education, Virginia Department of Education, but it was the Department of Social Services that literally keep a list of updated. Well, I could cross-reference that with get all the owners of those properties and everything in that. And also now that I have I could actually, we do have data that tracks back to the year 2000. I could use AI to help me analyze all of that data. So 2015 was one of the best years for Loudoun County because of all the development. I can tell you that in Loudoun County, 2.17% of properties trade. There's 5,013 commercial properties in Loudoun, 2.17 trade per year. That number's not pulled out of anywhere. AI has helped me analyze that data. So now hopefully we could use that to better predict. I love talking about that type of stuff because it's being more efficient. We all have 24 hours a day. We all have 7 days a week. There are tools. It doesn't replace the human connection, but it definitely can enhance it and enhance the time by using it efficiently. So I love talking about that, and I've explored probably everything that there is. So, I will give talks on things like that, and usually it's with other commercial brokers to help them. So
were you, when it came to technology and as the tech stack, AI, so on and so forth, were you resistant at first, or did you just realize that was the future and brought it on right away?
I wasn't resistant. I was actually diving right in. When I started Seraphine Real Estate, the other thing, and we kind of, was like the marketing brochures and all of that too. Well, the average commercial broker is 20 years above me. So I did have a little bit of an edge, I think, with the use of technology as well. So it's not just the marketing materials, but the technology and all of that, kind of like how I mentioned and things, and the use of it. That is the way things are heading right now. I think almost in every industry, you can't get away from not hearing about AI and all the different things. So it's embracing it, but using it strategically in the sense of how can it help my business? How can it help me become more efficient? And really, how can it help my clients or us get the results my clients are wanting to get? Whether it's analyzing an investment opportunity quicker, instead of putting it in a spreadsheet or writing it down, do you have a platform maybe on AI, which we do, like, okay, here's this, and this. Tell me about this, what it could help analyze what the returns, what the potential risks are, and all of that too. I dove right in. So, yeah.
So as a lifelong Northern Virginian, what drives your commitment to this region beyond real estate?
So my family's raised here. We do spend a lot of time out in the community, and again, having some just deep roots here, you see the areas change. You want certain areas to stay the way that they are. I think the county does a pretty good job of that. I mean, Loudoun County almost has like a dividing line, which is a road where there's development, all this development on one side of the data centers and Ashburn and retail. And then on the western side of Loudoun, western Route 15, is the wineries and the agriculture and the rural areas, so you've got that mix of both. And, you do want to see that. Yes. From a business standpoint, I love the development side. The personal side, I love going out to the open land and, seeing kind of no development. You want to, and again, I'm a big family man. I definitely try to balance that out. And I want my kids to grow up in an area where I know they're safe. There's a good school system, good community, good support system. My whole family is around this area. And again, growing up in the area, I want to maintain, or want to see it maintain certain aspects. I like the development thing, but development in a good way, development of places where they support the work-live balance.
So what's next for Seraphine Real Estate? Any expansion, new verticals, or goals for the next 5 years?
Next 5 years will be very similar to what is going on today. Maybe there's another member or two. I don't see us getting really past 10, and that would only, like I said, not recruiting, but if I was approached by somebody and it made sense and there was that relationship and trust already there, maybe. I think, we continue just to improve our processes and operations, dive into different niche product specializations while we continue to still do the religious facilities, the early education facilities. I think the investment market will, eventually come roaring back. There's still a lot of capital out there, and keeping our eye on everything. Prince William County, I think we get a little bit more into that area focus. So, but again, we just want to be kind of the go-to commercial investment brokerage for the individuals who we see a good fit with us. Now, 15 years from now, that's a different story. My oldest, who I was telling you about, is going up to college. Well, he's going into a completely different field, forensics and all that. So my daughter, she's the one who likely, if anybody, to kind of take over. She's got the entrepreneur spirit. She's the tough one. She's 10, so we'll see what happens. There's still a lot of years. Yeah, exactly. That would be okay. And then our youngest, Paxton, whatever, he's kind of the brute. He could just be the bodyguard and bouncer for everybody. So
yeah. So if you could give one piece of advice to an aspiring commercial broker or someone thinking about starting their own firm, what would it be?
That's a great question. It really summed up in one word: specialization. So geographic specialization, and if you can, product specialization as well. If you become the expert in your area, you only really need 1,000 properties to do that, and even hyper focus into a certain property type, you're going to succeed, because you're going to eventually become that go-to. And it doesn't have to be as deep as like what I'm saying with early education or religion. It could be retail, it could be industrial, it could be office, it could be multifamily. But if you know that area intimately and you know that product intimately, where you could literally rattle off the statistics, you're going to be doing better than 99% of the competition.
It's been a blast having you as our guest today. As we close out, please tell our listeners where we can learn more about you, get in touch with you and learn about all the fabulous things you have going on right now?
Great. The best place is obviously our website launch. We started a new magazine, actually. In fact, Cedric, I'll send you a copy of it. They're on our second issue right now, but I just literally launched it this past week. Has a lot of market information, all that. But our website is seraphinre.com, SERAFINRE.com. We can be reached at 703-261-4809. or info@seraphinre.com.
Again, I want to thank you for your time today and all the wisdom you have provided to my listeners. It's greatly appreciated. And I want to thank you, our fans, for tuning into the Service to Syndication podcast, where we want to provide value to you and your investing business. Please tune into our next episode, where we will interview another fantastic real estate professional. See you next time.
Thank you, Cedric.
Thanks for listening to the Service to Syndication podcast. We want you to know that we love and appreciate your support, and we are grateful about being a part of your journey to becoming a successful real estate entrepreneur. Please share this episode with a friend who you think will get a lot out of what you just heard. Send it to someone who you know is interested in real estate and dreams of having it all and being the best they can be in all areas of life. And if this was really valuable, share it on your social media stories and timelines. Thank you for watching and listening. Now go be great.